Almost live from the CX Therapy Studio, CX Therapy Special Edition.
Good morning, Max. How are you doing today? Welcome back, everyone, for yet a new episode of the CX Therapy. Max, it has been a while. How are you doing?
It has been a while. I am doing well. I am a little scarred, but we'll get to that. I want to make sure you're having a good evening and find out if Paris is burning and how life is going
So
out there.
Paris is not burning. The rest of France probably a different story at this point.
Yeah.
But Paris is fine. It's getting hot though. I'm glad we don't have a weather change problem because that would suck.
Yes.
But yeah, it's
Yes.
very hot around here. How are you doing? What's scaring you again? Have you been traveling?
How did you know?
I mean, it's if it's not your washing machine or your cable TV, it has to be travel, and usually
true.
is travel.
That's
So,
true.
what's
I
happening?
could probably cobble together a number cable story, but I'm not going to. This is a travel story, and Ian Jacobs, my friend who's been on this podcast, he and I both went to a vendor event in London, and which from San Francisco is kind of a ways. And I had the choice of staying real quick or staying the weekend, and he was staying the weekend. So it's like, oh, this will be fun. Let's do that. And I agreed, since I was kind of crashing his plans, that I would find us a place. So I went to a vacation rental site and found a 2-bedroom apartment and had to work with him without ever really understanding where we wanted to be. But there were very, it was Pride Week and Wimbledon was going on, and it wasn't a weekend where you could get away with being far away and just trusting you'll be able to get there. So very specific where we need it. Uh, Less than a week before the reservation date, uh, I got an email from the vacation rental site saying this has been canceled, and here are 3 options for you. Go ahead and pick one, or you're welcome to go look yourself and find something. On this very, very busy weekend, I was traveling. So here I am on my phone. The 3 recommendations they made were all 1 bedrooms. Now I love Ian. He's a really good friend, but I really don't want to share a bedroom with him. I want my own room. So I looked, and none of the things they said were okay. Were okay. I dug in, looked around, see what I could find. Eventually, I found 2 places that would meet the criteria, and then I got a hold of Ian while I was literally in the car going from point A to point B on a trip, and just happened to catch him. So I'm like, okay, this one's here and this one's there. And he's like, okay, that location's good, that location's bad. Found one, booked it, got through it.
Good.
I had a reaction very similar to yours when I first said less than a week it just got canceled. I'm like, what? And there was a bot on, when they sent the thing that said, here's your 3 options, there was a bot. And it was a beautifully wrought bot. It spoke well. It had all the wonderful faux empathy that generative AI brings to the table. It was very clear. And what it was telling me was their policy is they can cancel at any damn time. There are no refunds whatsoever. And hey, here's some options. Good luck. Hope you find a place. That's our policy. And I'm like, what? But you could have. I am really lucky you didn't just completely screw up my weekend, my vacation time. And I could have dug through their website, found the phone number, called somebody, and had that very satisfying moment of just making them cry. because I was that pained and that it was that bad of an experience. But they took that away. I just it was like there's a bot. There's no escalation. This is the policy. Why are you still asking me questions? I mean, obviously you say that, but it felt like, why are you still asking me questions? So, I mean, that it's a short story. That's the whole thing. But there's some pain and meat here.
Yeah. Well, the silver lining is you found a solution. The sad thing is nothing to them.
Right.
I had never heard of policies saying we can cancel, because usually hotels will tell you like 20 days ahead you can cancel free. 10 days you cancel, you lose
Right.
20%.
Right.
24 hours you cancel, you lose 50. So there are those policies. We are all very much aware of this. You just never realize you might have similar policies, maybe much easier on the other hand, on the other half. So that's pretty terrible. My first reaction when you told me that, I was thinking there should be a legal requirement that if you have this kind of stuff that cannot be hidden somewhere on your legal page, there should be a disclaimer on the website. We do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah. And I've told this story to a lot of people, and one of them it owned a vacation rental, and that person was very up on it, and she was like, "Yeah, there is no refund policy. They can cancel. A lot of times, what happens is, and this is where vacation rental is a little different than a hotel. A lot of times, what happens is there's a problem with the landlord. It's not the booking site. It's this place had few or no reviews, so it could well be that it turned out there was something really bad about the rent. But they explicitly said, yeah, we can't tell you why. Our policy is it is things like dot dot dot. It's kind of like, man,
So at first I was thinking they should put it up there, and then I thought, look, we've had GDPR in Europe, and now we have cookies banners everywhere that are
yeah.
such a disturbance. You're
Thank goodness.
still not reading the cookies policy. You're just trying to find where is a no I refuse button, or at least something easy to get rid of the banners that you can read the website. So yeah, probably we don't want more legal stuff there. But yeah, that definitely sucks. And if people were to know that, I mean, it's always beautiful. We are all customer centric. We care about the experience first. But when it comes to, explaining, because I think at the end of the day, it's completely understandable that they might cancel. The room is
It is.
flooded. There is suddenly emergency construction work, or just for whatever reason they got water leakage on the apartment upstairs, and therefore it's just there are a million good reasons to cancel. Not giving you an explanation and not helping you figure out the next steps is what the problem really is. Isn't it very similar to the last story we had with our guest, except that you didn't have to share a bed with Ian. That was
No, yeah, yeah. In fact, I posted about this after I posted Justin's story, and I used something we missed horribly with that story was the planes, trains, and automobiles. I don't know if you're familiar with it, where Steve Martin and John Candy. Oh God, watch that movie. There's this classic scene in it where they're like, they're in this teeny bed, so they end up kind of snuggled up together, and they wake up, and I forget which is which because where are your hands? Oh, my hands, they're between these two fluffy pillows. Fluffy pillows. Wait, that's me. What are you doing? And so I posted that, and like a month later, I'm posting that picture again because this experience. So yeah, it is strikingly similar. That hey, share a bedroom. Why not?
well. So, all right. What could have been done better here? I think shit happens. This can happen to
Yeah,
anyone.
yeah,
Now,
canceling and yeah, and there's a whole thread on that I don't think I'll bother to go down. But
And if you are a big hotel chain, you should be able to find another property or another room. If that's all you've got, does make sense. If you go through a platform, they should be able to find, if that's not this one, something similar. But at the very least, giving you some kind of explanation, being clear, especially that companies are very clear when it comes to the policy for you not to get a refund when you cancel. If they
Right.
have such policy for themselves, they should be a little bit more upfront with it. That should not be a legal requirement. That should be just a moral requirement.
Yeah, yeah. Just be clear. And I think that, to me, the question and where I feel they broke down was how much effort, when this happens, should they put into giving me an alternative? I searched for I had a 2-bedroom place, not a 1-bedroom place. When I searched, I had a filter saying, show me only 2-bedroom places. Uh, I realized this was a really busy time, and I know how few 2-bedroom options there were, but there were some. And, the fact that it was a pretty ham-handed offer really made it feel like, yeah, you're not even trying. Even then, the fact that, then you get into, well, I don't really understand where in London we needed to be, and I needed to consult with somebody else on that. Uh, I couldn't even articulate to them, no, I want to be in this area, not that area. So that is problematic, and there's no way to fix that. That's the customer just not having his act together. But that I think was just piss poor. I think they could have done some smarter things. Or, my goodness, if I look at those 3 things and say none of these are what I want, get me to a person. I
I
mean, I
agree.
know they're doing everything they can to keep people out of the loop, but dear God, get me to a person at that point who can apologize and take a little flack and, I got you. And, give me a 10%, 20% discount on the next rental. How hard is that?
Was it at least a good weekend? Did you end up enjoying it?
It was a great weekend. Um, the place was not quite as nice as the other one, but the reality was it was just a crash pad, so it was
Didn't
perfectly
matter.
acceptable for what we wanted. Um, so it did all work out. I did have a lovely weekend. I
Well,
met.
look,
One last detail. We ended up doing a pub crawl, and this was the 4th of July, which is Independence Day here from England. And on the pub call, there was a group of women dressed with powdered wigs of the colonial revolutionary founding fathers going on the pub crawl together. And I was able to meet George Washington, who was a woman in this case. But so that was a
that's a
particular.
once in a lifetime kind of situation. Totally worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, if you do feel better, if the weekend was actually pretty good, I hope. Well, first of all, sorry for the scarring experience. Hope that doesn't happen again. Now, I know your travel story, so I know it will happen again one way or the other. I promise to share with you next time actually a similar story. I didn't expect to tell that one. It's going to be very short, but I have something somehow similar. So hope you don't have that bitter taste in your mouth anymore. I'll be sharing my story next time, if that's okay with you.
Color me intrigued. I can't wait to find out. And thank you. This helps. It's off my chest. I think I'm getting close to being able to move on.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Max. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely rest of your day and see you again very soon.
Thanks.